I think human beings live in a modern world. And naturally, living in the modern world, we have modern problems. And they obviously require modern solutions. I used to think about, or I guess I still do think about how, like, 100 years ago, there were just no homeless people. Like, you didn't need a house to like live. People would just like go out and they just would like catch ferrets and stuff. Like you didn't you could just very easily sleep in the woods and hunt shit and live off berries. And I feel like you can't really do that anymore. And so now we have all these people who can't hunt ferrets but also don't live in a house. And so we just call those people homeless people. Basically, long story short, if you're a homeless and you know how to hunt ferrets, I don't think you're a homeless. But that being said, there are a lot of poor people around, and it makes me sad when I see poor people. I don't like looking at them for too long. And there's this new trend, specifically kind of on TikTok. I guess it's not really new anymore, but it's like people will go on live and they'll basically just do e-begging where they're like, no, don't send a galaxy, and they're like British half the time, right? Or like they have some fake filter and like pretend to cry and stuff, and it's really disappointing to see, especially if you were that person's parent or something. And look, I'm no stranger to e-begging. Let's not get it twisted. But they take it too far. However, there is a very specific niche of this e-begging that I love it so much because I just can't it's such a perfect example of like why this is the best time to be alive. And it's specifically when foreigners do this trend, not like UK people but like non-native English speakers. There's this one I see where basically there's this guy who's usually like Malaysian or like Belarusian or something, some like third world country that like they live off 3 cents a year and feed a family of 12 type of thing. And they'll sit there and they're playing Minecraft and they're in this very long tower and they have to fill the tower with blocks. And every time that they get a donation, TNT spawns and breaks the blocks. And I remember seeing one last night, and this guy had got a galaxy, which is like the biggest donation you could get. I don't even know how much the actual currency is, but I can only imagine it's months worth of salary from where this guy's from. And like he's so tired. He's been placing blocks in this tower for so many hours. He's like on his Macintosh from like 2003 that can barely run Minesweeper, and he's struggling so hard. And it puts a smile on my face to know that there's been such a globalization of the earth that these poor guys who don't even talk, they like barely know English, they're just sitting there. They get paid to place blocks and look sad. We didn't have that back in the day. They're almost like they're like the shittiest jesters of all time, where they only exist to like amuse the king. Just think, you have these people who used to live in vibrant and diverse, thriving civilizations, right? Where they have complicated and harmonious relationships as either hunters or gatherers, and they have their own government and gods and religion. And just think, just try explaining to these like warriors, titans, like their former kings, that their great grandchildren, when you try to tell them of their spoils of war, the best thing that you can say is that they got a galaxy donation on their TikTok Minecraft stream, and their sole existence, their sole purpose is to look sad for other people's amusement. Like the worst actor you've ever seen in your entire life. I couldn't even imagine. Maybe we should take note. We're not much better. Maybe in their mind, that's the other solution. You could either work at the local salt mine or something, or harvest bamboo shoots for a fraction of a cent per pound of product, or you can pretend to be sad on TikTok Live. I guess it's not that much different than doing OnlyFans stuff, right? Instead of placing Minecraft blocks, you take Minecraft cocks. I think part of the reason why these streams are so popular is because they're minorities. I think people like they might actually be sad if it's like white people, or maybe they don't even believe it, but the fact that they're like so clearly not from a place that has consistent electricity, it just makes it that much more entertaining for the audience. Because I don't know who's donating to these streams. You know, I'm not, certainly. I don't know that I believe that it's people who actually want to support the stream, right? They're clearly trying, like they want to make the person sad. They want to like ruin their day. But I don't know that the donators appreciate the fact that like their donations are like keeping that family of like Serbs out of poverty, or like it's not like XQC donations or anything like that where it's like, oh man, your streams really got me through a tough time and I just like to say thank you, and I really appreciate the work that you do. It's like, haha, here's a galaxy, cry, peasant. Yeah, that's right. I made you blow up your fictitious blocks. Wallow. Dance for me, monkey. But you know what? The more I think about it, maybe this isn't a purely uniquely modern problem. I feel like back in the day there were probably people who would walk up to someone who's homeless or starving and they'd be like, I'll give you a halfpenny if you let me punch you in the stomach. And they'd be down. I mean, that's how Houdini died, ain't it? Maybe things aren't so different, you know? They're really just like us, huh? A lot of these streamers are younger people generally, and I wonder if they get into arguments with their mom or something. Their mom would be like, dude, you gotta milk the cow, or bring in the pails of water that are hanging by a stick on your back or something. They're like, Mom, you don't get it, dude. I just made, like, so much money. We could eat for weeks, Mom. We could eat meat for the first time, and God knows how long. And they show them, like, the TikTok creator fund or whatever, and they show that they got, like, 36 cents. And she's like, holy fuck, son, you make me so proud. I can't believe it. Maybe they stick to more traditional values. Who knows? I wonder how you even... Do they brag about it? Do the parents brag? Like how... Parents always talk about their kids with other parents, and I imagine maybe they're like at the local town council or something, and they're like, oh, my son is so strong. He could like... He can lift an ox, or he won the most recent indigenous strongman competition where you have to push a boulder up a hill or something, and they're like, well, my kid is takes anonymous donations from strangers who pity him. I also think about that a lot when it comes to like professional fighters. Every time I see videos or highlight reels of UFC fights, especially some of the lighter weights, like you forget how small these people are, and it's like, you know what? We're not so different than the people of yesteryear, you know? We're not so different. We love seeing people. There used to be gladiators and stuff, and circuses and freak shows. We're not so different than the people who would like do cockfights or midget fights or something. Like we just like seeing small people fight each other, you know? Funnily enough, as I'm recording this, there's someone on my other monitor in a group chat that I'm in complaining about how boring work is and how they'd rather just be at home, even though they would. The only difference is that they're getting paid to do nothing at work versus not getting paid to do nothing at home. And imagine, he's like, oh, I just don't feel excited or fulfilled. It's like, well, would you prefer being a violently impoverished minority pretending to be sad for Minecraft clicks?